and welcome to another art class with Wilna or art journaling little tutorial with Wilna. Actually, it's not a tutorial. You know what? Sometimes I feel that I have nothing to, to teach anyone. I just love to share with you my art process, and that's what I want to do with these art journals. Um, I'm prepping my page, my book, with a little bit of gesso and a card, and I love the way that this card really makes this thin layer, So this is the last art journal page that I will share with you. I will share one more actually, but only in a little bit because it's for a special project. And once that launches, then I'm free to share it on my YouTube channel. So again, I'm starting with my Extreme Thankful collection of flourishes that I made, and I'm just going to use some Mod Podge and just stick it down and let it dry, and then I'm going to paint with those paints that you see on the left side, the Kuretake watercolors. I am very excited. This is actually the last few days of November, but I've been in this Christmas mood for the longest time, and even my girls say that Christmas should come early this year. It's not always like that for us. Sometimes, I don't know, Christmas gets sprung on you and it feels like it's way too quick. And then sometimes, like this year, it feels like it can't come quick enough. So I'm in a very happy Christmas mood. I'm very excited to be sharing my Christmas collection on my YouTube channel in December. And if you haven't seen it, just look on my YouTube channel. There's a little preview, peek of the Christmas projects and not projects, but the products that I created. And I love it. I'm painting with this beautiful mint green. So it's very rare that you get this beautiful color, mint green, on a watercolor palette. But then again, you know what? These paints that I'm painting with here, the Kuretake watercolors, they're really not your average watercolors. They cost about $60 on Amazon, and I paid in Canadian dollars. So I don't know exactly, it might be more or less for depending on where you're from. But this is something that you can tell if you're an artist or the type that art products are your thing. This is what you tell your family to get you for Christmas. It's one of those lovely little gifts, and it's Amazon, so if they order it right now, they still can get it before Christmas. So you can see here that as I've mentioned before, so I'm sorry if I repeat myself, but I'm just going to assume that you haven't seen any other videos. But watercolors react differently when you use gesso. So watercolors and gesso are not friends, and but that's okay. You know what? Sometimes it's okay. It's just a wonderful way to get color on the paper to get started. A starting point, and but ideally you want to paint with watercolors on a paper where it has the ability to suck in the watercolor. So right now what happens is the watercolor is just basically lying on top of the gesso. It's not being drawn into the paper, and that's why the look is just so differently. But that's okay. Like I said, this is just a starting point. It's the first layer of many layers, and I love this art process. I painted a painting yesterday, and some of the things that I tried on these art journals showed up in the painting, and that just really excited me and made me very happy. And that's again when I know that this process of art journaling is really worth it, and it adds to your creativity. Um, I the other video that I've posted with the same series of art journals got a few dislikes. It was interesting to me because For these art journals, I decided that it's okay for me if they're not very pretty, because I can make a pretty photograph or a pretty art journal, pretty scrapbook page, you know. It's easy for me, and in fact my creative endeavors want to go that way, to make it pretty, to let it all be wrapped up, you know, and nicely put together. And with these art journals, maybe it's the music I was listening to, I gave myself permission to be a little bit more raw and real, you know. Let me just explain what I'm doing here. I'm using a stencil that I created with my silhouette cameo long ago, this old one, and I'm just using a little bit of gesso, and I'm just making, you can't really read the words, so it's just markings that I'm making on the page and giving a little bit of texture, and I'm using just gesso to do it, so you just want to let it dry completely. But anyway, so I gave myself permission to be a little bit more expressionistic with these pages, use my markings a little bit more raw and real, and and to be okay with not making the prettiest of pages. So honestly, I I'm I think sometimes you have to give yourself permission, you know, to be a little bit more expressionistic, or try something new. And it's okay, because in your art journals, that's exactly where you want those happenings to happen. That's where you get to try the new thing. That's where you get to do something that, you're too scared to do, maybe on a scrapbook layout or on a painting or something, But an art journal, you can make a mess, because in the end, you let it dry, you turn the page, and you can start all over again. It's a very small format to try new things. So, you know what? If you didn't like my previous art journal, or maybe you don't like this one or the next one, it's okay, Just know that this is not something that I sell. I This is just for me, and I give myself permission to make messes, and that's exactly what I'm doing on these art journals. But I think especially being a scrapbooker, we just want everything to be pretty and put together, and it has to come together nicely, and it has to be neat and orderly. And you know what? No, no, not on my art journals. I can do whatever I want, and you can do whatever you want. And so I think it's a very wonderful exercise to try new things. And I love paging through them to see how they are evolving, you know? So that's just something to keep in mind. So maybe don't hit the dislike button on this, even though I don't take it personally at all. So you can dislike it if you want to. It's okay. I still sleep very well at night, and I just keep the bigger picture in mind, that in the end, it's just paper and paint, right? It's not my life's work hanging, uh, depending on a like or a dislike. But having said that, I love reading your comments, and I just want to thank you for every single comment. And I appreciate them, really. I read all of them, and I try to like all of the comments. So I really appreciate it. So thank you for that. The little collection that I used here is from my Extremely Thankful collection, and Thanksgiving in the USA is just gone, just finished last week. So if you want to use these products to scrapbook or art journal, your Thanksgiving thoughts and feelings, then this is a very nice collection to use. I think it's very versatile. I don't think it's only related to fall. So maybe, you know what, feel free. And I hope you enjoy it and use it. I love this little bit of Prussian. Oh no, it's not Prussian blue. It's deep turquoise, deep turquoise, and I love this color. It's probably one of my favorite colors. This and Prussian blue. and cerulean blue. I don't know, I love blues. I love blue a lot. I'm painting with my drying tool there, with my embossing tool to dry the paint. And I think it's just because I really want to keep the colors fresh, so I don't want them to flow too much. So just using the little embossing tool while I'm painting helps me a little with that. So this page is almost done. I'm just going to enhance it a little bit with this beautiful gold green Liquitex paint. There you can see the color. Um, and it's actually prettier in life than it is on the palette or on the screen on the video. So I'm using a small brush and I'm just going to draw with it a little bit. So this is something that I'm enjoying a lot with these pages that I'm making, just allowing myself to draw a little bit onto the page with my free hand. And again, a very intuitive thing for me. It's not that I sit and plan it out or make little sketches. It's it is not the result of previous study. And this always reminds me of that Pride and Prejudice dialogue where Mr. Bennet says to Mr. Collins, how happy for you, Mr. Collins, to possess a talent for flattering with such delicacy. And then Elizabeth says, do these pleasing attentions proceed from the impulse of the moment, or are they the result of previous study? And then Mr. Collins answers, they arise chiefly from what is passing of the time. And though I do sometimes amuse myself by arranging little elegant compliments, I always wish to give them an as unstudied an air as possible. So maybe that should be my theme for my art journals is that I wish to give them as unstudied an air as possible. But then again, there's nothing in me that wants to be Mr. Collins in any scenario of life. So yeah, maybe not. But anyway, so that's just proves the point. Okay, this is totally off topic with art journaling, but you know what? There's not a scenario in life that Pride and Prejudice is not applicable or quotable. There's a quote, a Pride and Prejudice quote for every scenario in life. Okay, so that's just my little philosophy. So now, uh, back to the art journals, people. Just focus here. Okay, I'm talking to myself. I'm painting with this red ink, and how interesting is that, right? So I'm using the paint dropper and I'm squeezing it very softly so that the paint can come out, and then I'm just drawing with it. And I just love this. I love this idea, and I'm looking forward to exploring this technique a little bit more, in my paintings even. And it's a little gutsy, it takes courage in a way that it's not easy to get rid of it. So if it's a disaster, then maybe, let it dry and turn a page and start all over again. But for me, in a weird way, I loved it, and I loved the way how it ended up, with the red and this really dramatic, painterly drawing over the paint. So I just love it. But I'm going to paint a little bit on the red that I just drew on the left-hand side. I think that's a little bit too much. So I'm just going to use a baby wipe, and I'm just going to remove a little bit there. So it's not, and I think that's where the Mod Podge helps, because it gives that little bit of a film. So you have a little window if it's a disaster that you can maybe rub it off. And then just with the baby wipe, I'm just going to smooth out the red at the bottom. So it actually balances nicely. So yeah, I love this page. And go to my blog, and there you will see images of how I added the journaling and how it ended up with the journaling. Because for me, it's never done unless the journaling is done. Art journaling, that's the whole thing. So thank you again for watching. I hope that you're in the Christmas spirit already. I hope that you enjoy this festive season. All my gifts are done. My goal every year is to have it all done before December 1st. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to lots of art, artful endeavors for the month of December. And I hope that I will be able to share it here on my YouTube channel and on my blog. So thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a little preview of the products that I created for these pages. And remember, when you buy the collection of digital downloads on iheartstudio.ca, you also get 4 process videos as a bonus. So it's part of the little mini class. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.